Kelly. Welcome to PSL on the Mic. Your first time here.
My first time. Thanks for having me.
And probably not the last.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Hopefully not. We got the port coming up. So
no, definitely.
You and Jen will be in here for that.
A lot of big things coming to the city. So
before we start, I want to say congratulations to you and the rest of the Parks and Recreation Department for a couple awards you guys won last week.
Yeah. So we were awarded the Agency Excellence in Health Award as a department. And I was awarded the Parks Professional of the Year award from
FRPA. It has to
FRPA.
do with a shovel.
There's I think golden shovel is in the title. Yeah.
And what did they give that? Did you apply for that?
They the department nominated me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So and then I was very honored to have been selected by the FRPA committee. So.
Well, that's amazing. You guys do such great work over there.
Thank you.
And that's why we're here today. We're talking about Torino Regional Park.
Right, yeah.
We've had a couple of public information meetings so far. Mm-hmm. January.
Yep, middle of January, we had a virtual meeting and an in-person meeting in the same week. So residents were able to come in person, actually, to the K-8 school over in the Torino area.
Okay.
I think it's Westgate K-8.
Yes, it is.
Yep, and then they were able to provide us some feedback on what they'd like to see come to the park. And we also put out a survey around that same time. It was out for several months. We got over 1,000 responses, so that was great. Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback. And then, of course, we came to Citizen Summit. We like to come to Citizen Summit with whatever the latest and greatest project is for the city, and we were able to get those residents to let us know what they wanted. So, a lot of good feedback.
And then last week, you guys had another public information meeting, virtual.
Week before last, but yes.
Oh my gosh!
August 24th. Really? Yep, it's getting away from us.
That was the week before last.
It was. Yep. So we did that virtually. Yeah, we did it. We were able to update the residents on the feedback that we had acquired through all of those different venues, and just give a few updates on the project as a whole.
Awesome, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty right now with that. Now, early concepts of this park were around. Oh my gosh, more than like a decade ago, right?
2007.
Okay.
Yep, it was fully designed, permitted, and ready for construction. But around that time, the city council and the city management and the OMB office, they all realized that, kind of the financial strain that was coming, and they held back and they said maybe now is not a great time to construct a major regional park. Very wisely so, because as we all know, the Great Recession hit around that time. And so it's always been, kind of in the plans that, whenever it was feasible to do so, that we would bring this, park back, into the project realm and back into our CIP and go ahead and construct, as funding allowed. So that's where we're at now, is we're looking to get at least a phase one started hopefully next year.
That's awesome. I know people have been waiting for it. Now, you said we gathered feedback from residents from various meetings, the Citizen Summit, and a master plan is going to be developed from all of this input. Right. Plus, we have, is it Kimley Horn?
Kimley Horn. Kimley Horn is our consultant.
Kimley Horn.
No, they're a great team to work with. So they are working with us as the consultants for the conceptual master plan. We do that for most of our large CIP projects for the city.
What are some examples of those?
So we have master plan the Port District, and we have a master plan for that. As many know, we are working currently on some projects that have been in planning for quite some time. But that's a district now that runs all the way from Lingate all the way down past the Botanical Gardens, that we also have master planned the north side of Port St. Lucie Boulevard, so that we can, as funding allows, start developing those areas, with what the residents would like to see in amenities, and economic development as well in those areas.
So those CIPs are just for really bigger, large scale.
The larger projects. Yeah. The master plans, we master plan those for the CIP projects because they're a large scale. But even though and CIP stands for capital improvement, plan, for those listening that may not know, and they're usually, they have a pretty substantial funding allowance initially, but even so for these larger sites, because like Torino, for instance, is a 200-acre site. So while we do have some funding to do a phase one, that project could be and we have about $20 million for phase one. But, to fully develop that site could take upwards of $50 or $60 million. So
now, do we try to get grants for things like that?
We absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, so every dollar that we have, we would love to be able to leverage that against any grant funding that's out there. Mm-hmm. And the more dynamic we can make the project, the better they score for these grants that we go out for, be it FIRDAP, which is the Florida Recreation Development Program Assistance Grant.
Okay.
Or LWCF, that's Land Water Conservation Fund. We have what they call an RTP grant that we were awarded recently for the Port District area and Wilderness Trail. That's the Recreation Trails Program grant. So these are $500,000, $200,000. So they're pretty substantial awards, and we have the funding in our CIP that we're able to leverage because they are match-funded grants.
Oh, nice.
So if we have $500,000, like for instance for the RTP grant, then we can ask, we can go for the $500,000 mark, or $200,000 for FIRDAP, $200,000 that they would match.
And you said so far about $20 million, but you think it could be about?
Well, to fully develop the site, it could be upwards of $50 or $60 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who might not know, exactly where in Torino?
So this is in the northern area of the city.
Okay.
It is in District 1, which is Councilwoman Morgan's district, right? And it's over, if you know where Winter Lakes Park, if anyone's familiar with Winter Lakes Park, it's over actually in that area. Winter Lakes Park is actually our largest neighborhood park. And the distinction there is neighborhood parks are typically not lit, and community parks and or regional parks would be lit facilities as far as their ball fields and things like that.
Yeah, that was going to be a question that a lot of people have actually been asking us, the difference between, and I try to emphasize on social media when people ask the difference between them. So it's more of like lighted ball fields versus non-lighted ball fields. Are there usually more amenities at a regional park sometimes?
There would, I would think there would be more, definitely would be more amenities, because
amenities.
Yeah, there would be definitely more amenities because you have a larger space to work with. Again, while Winter Lakes is a large neighborhood park, it is still 28 acres. And a lot of our neighborhood parks are maybe only 3 to 5 acres. I'm trying to think what our community parks, but they're, it kind of goes up in size and the diversity of amenities that you would see depending on.
This one's almost 200.
It's almost 200
and
acres
there's
between
parcels,
the three,
right?
Between the three sites. We call them A, B, and C.
Let's talk a little bit about A, B, and C.
A, B, and C.
Because I know one is tiny, one is a little bit bigger, and then the main one.
So Site A is the site that was conceptually planned back in 2007.
Okay.
We also lovingly call that the fish, because if you look at it on a map, it looks like it's similar to a fish.
It looks like a fish.
And then Site B is just off of that, and we call it, again, lovingly, the tongue of the fish. And it's 16 acres, that Site B is. Site A is about 130 acres. And then we also have a site that's just a little south and on the other side of the road of those two parcels that was formerly the site that was under the purview of the police department.
Oh, right.
And we just switched the land up with them because it just made more sense for them to develop another parcel. And I honestly not sure exactly where that one was, but we ended up with the 46 acres that's kind of a little south of the parcels A and B, and we call that Site C. And it's a more linear site. It's just kind of, it's very narrow and long. But, it might be conducive to maybe soccer fields or, something of that nature. So that's kind of what we're envisioning in that, at some point maybe developing that piece.
So what are you guys looking at for parcel A, the biggest parcel?
Our residents would like to see a mix of it's a pretty even split between active and passive recreation. So
active being, let's explain that.
Active being more like your ball fields, your sports courts, and things of that nature, maybe splash pads or playgrounds. Passive being more like your trails or maybe disc golf or something that's more green space and picnic areas, things like that. So, and with that split, that parcel has actually got an area kind of in the northeast corner of it that is conservation more so. And so we're looking at maybe we're going to keep that more along the lines of just trails, and things like that.
Pretty.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the other areas we do have to be kind of strategic because we have some wetlands on the site. So, if we were to want to develop them, we would obviously have to mitigate You know, you have to kind of give land for land if you're going to do something like that, or develop around it. So, you know, there are some things that we have to be very cognizant of as we're moving forward with that conceptual master plan when it comes to the wetlands and then the conservation areas.
And what about Parcel B?
And Parcel B, back in 2007,
the tongue of the fish.
The tongue of the fish. So back in 2007, that was actually kind of planned to be a rec center and aquatics facility.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we're actually still kind of looking at it for those uses. We may be looking at maybe partnerships or, you know, things of that nature to help us bring some of those types of amenities online. You know, right now the city does not own any pools or, you know, anything like that. So
those are county owned.
Those are
by the way.
Those are county owned
Ravenswood.
right now. Correct. Right. So so as we're not in the business currently, you know, either we would have to look at getting in the business of that, or maybe partnering with someone who's already very familiar with how to operate those types of facilities. So.
Okay. So soccer fields for C. Now I know that there's a big push for us to add some amenities that have to do with skate parks.
Right.
BMX tracks, and that was all supposed to be part of the adventure park that we were also looking into as well. Is there anything on the horizon for that, you think?
Absolutely. So
I know that was a
many
big
of our
thing on
residents
the
may
survey.
know, we did have an adventure park that we were planning conceptually. Again, it's one of those big master plans that we had put together. And due to the solid waste issues that were going on at the time, and even still, that site is now being utilized as a waste transfer site.
Correct.
So what our city council and city management has asked that we do is bring some of those amenities that were previously conceptualized for that site into our regional park facilities. So currently, right now, we're looking at Torino Regional Park for the skate park element.
Okay.
Right? And then Tradition Regional Park, we're looking at for a BMX element. So both of those are going to, you know, come to the city just in different locations. So
I love that. You know, it was bad news for the BMX folks and the skate park folks about the adventure park, but I love that that's what we decided.
Yeah.
We're going to put them at different parks. Now, it might take a couple years, and Tradition, I don't even think we're even in.
Well, we are actually planning, and we have a consultant on board for a USA BMX track at the Tradition Regional Park site. Yep, and they are moving right along and getting that designed. It will be, if all goes as planned, a USA BMX sanctioned track. But the nice thing about that is when it is not programmed via USA BMX, it will be open for the public to play on the track. So you can take your bicycle out, you can take roller skate on it, scooter, anything non-motorized, you can play on the track, so it won't be closed.
And that area, where in Tradition is that going to go? If we can envision it through.
Oh gosh, that's a little tougher one, and this is when I need Brad King, my assistant director, who's not directionally challenged, to let us know where the.
Brad, where are you?
Yeah, right. But no, Tradition. I mean, it's over in that area of the world, like where the Mattamy Homes construction is going on. There's going to be a Tradition trail at some point. And I wish I knew exactly the roads that are bisecting that, but I don't.
That's okay. We're not talking about that today. But I figured since we mentioned it, it'll just be out west in Tradition.
Yes.
And that's a little ways off. Big parks, big new parks kind of means more people in said parks.
Yes.
Roads, infrastructure. What's our plan for that? I know I listened to the meeting the other day, and Heath Stockton, our public works director, talked a little bit about what's going on with roads and sidewalks.
Right. So they have a couple of improvements already planned in the form of the roundabouts in that area of the Torino. But we have been asked by City Council and our city management to do a traffic impact study in the area along with our conceptual master plan. So we are.
That's always good.
We're going to be doing that. We're actually just now talking to the engineers through Kimley Horn to get that going. So while we had anticipated bringing the conceptual master plan to City Council for final approval at the end of the year, that might delay it a little bit just because we want to make sure that we get that done and we can get some recommendations in the works that will help alleviate the concerns on traffic as well. So we're gonna be working that angle along with the conceptual master plan to make sure that we're trying to cover all the bases where the infrastructure is concerned.
And I think, isn't there a remote control hobby
There
club
is.
there? I don't know if it's boats or cars. What is it?
It's actually I think it's more air based. Yeah, because they
okay.
fly. They fly. So we have been vetting some different avenues of if either keeping them on the site or maybe relocating them to a different site within the city. We haven't made any final decisions on that piece.
Do they just lease that part
They
or
do.
something? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they lease that I think yearly, but maybe it's. Yeah, I'd have to look back at the lease, but I think they just renewed it here maybe a year or so ago. But so yeah, we are trying to consider our users and make sure that we're taking care of them as well. They're a good group.
Yeah,
and I think they have a lot of fun out there. So so we're kind of trying to tick all the boxes as we're going along and make sure that they're taken care of as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the timeline for this, I know we're just gathering information right now. The master plan. Hopefully by early next year after the transportation study, maybe. What are the next steps here? So
again, right, like you said, we're going to bring this forward to City Council either the end of this year or early next year for council approval. And as we do that, we'll bring forward a phasing recommendation as well. We do have what they call ARPA funds that are tied to this project. That's the American Recovery Funds that were pushed down by the government that have to be encumbered by the end of 2024. So what we would ideally want to do is get that phase one going so that we can make sure we're encumbering those funds, because that's about $5 million of the $20 million that is allocated for this project.
Oh, wow. Okay. So construction it won't even be probably till 2025, I think we were talking about, right?
So what we would do is what we would call a design build. So that would you have a design and construction kind of under one contract, and it technically encumbers the funds, and we could do that by the end of 2024, which is when we have to have those funds encumbered.
Right. That's really not that far away.
It is not that far away. It is coming quick. So yeah, so we're trying to keep the needle moving to get the things completed that need to be done so that we can keep moving forward.
Now this is a long time coming. You've been with the city for how long?
A little over 5 years,
okay.
About 5.5 years.
How does it feel to actually be getting this off the ground finally?
It's so exciting. I mean, all these things that the city needs. We're a city growing, as we all know. We've gone from, just since I've been here, I think it was 194,000 residents, 92 maybe thousand residents when I first came back in 2018, and we're almost up to 240,000 from what I hear. Right?
That's the latest, yeah.
And we did a 10-year master plan back in 2019 that identified the deficit areas as far as recreational amenities in the city. And Torino Regional Park was a big hole, as far as a lot of the things that we need, and our residents want in that area of the city. So to know back in 2019 that we needed these things and to see each of them moving forward in their own ways, and I hope, and I want to be here and see them all come to life. I mean, you get invested in these projects and seeing, and knowing that everyone wants these things, so badly in the city, and I want to see it come to life. So
I know. And will this be our first regional park?
Or either this one or Tradition and Torino are kind of, side by side. And so we'll see who makes it to the finish line first to say the first ever. But in any case, two great regional parks in two different sides of the city that are going to bring some great amenities for our residents and even visitors, regional with that regional draw that they're supposed to have, hence the name Regional Park.
And they're, I'm sorry for interrupting,
no,
but they're both out west too, which can gather west north. But they're both near 95, and so we'll definitely be getting some visitors from different areas, which is nice because we offer all these amazing things. Why not
share?
Have it right there and share. I love it. So we have a couple things. Speaking of Parks and Recreation, I just wanted to remind everybody, we've got a couple events coming up. The 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony is Monday, September 11th, and that's at the Mid-Florida Event Center. We've got the POW MIA Remembrance Ceremony, which is the 15th of September, and International Festival. I know Kelly Tiger, another Kelly over in Parks and Recreation, is super excited about this. We are too. That's September 16th at Mid-Florida Event Center. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of food, fashion, and music from at least 12 or 13 different countries. And the tree giveaway is the same day, September 16th in the morning.
So go get your tree and then run over to the International
I was
Fest.
just going to say that. Grab your tree from 8 to 10 and then go over to the International Festival from 2 to 9.
Right.
And then you guys have a ton. Fall is coming. It's festival time.
It's coming.
Oktoberfest, Fall Fun Fest, and then I think you're combining Bonfire Hayride with Harvest Hayride, something in the preserve. There's 2 combined events this year in October. I believe it's the second or third weekend. We'll definitely put that in the description for everybody.
Okay.
So yeah, so many exciting things happening. 2 gigantic parks coming to the city in the next 5 or so, maybe less years.
Maybe 2 to 3 years for that phase
let's
1.
go.
Yeah. We're hoping, like I say, we're gonna get things moving and get that under contract next year. So I'm hoping by the end of 2025 we'll see some good amenities coming out of the ground for
That's
both
awesome.
those regional parks.
That's going to be so great for everybody. Kelly, it was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Did we miss anything? Do you want to talk about something that you guys are doing over there in Parks?
we are moving again. The 10-year master plan that we adopted back in 2019. There were some major pillars, and these regional parks were one of those. But we are moving the needle on almost, I would say not even almost, on every one of the major pillars of the 10-year master plan, be it trails, be it the Port District, the regional parks.
Wilderness Trail. I'm so excited for that over by Saints Golf Course.
Yep. So we're actually in the design process right now. We're trying to get that RTP grant fully commenced, and once that's done, we're off and running to get that going. So yeah, lots of great things going on in Parks and Recreation.
Keep visiting us over at pslparks.com. We've got and we also have a dedicated page too.
Yes, so for these bigger projects, I do try, because there's a lot of planning efforts involved, and especially we want to make sure that all of our residents, have a place that they can go to get the latest and greatest information. So for the Torino Regional Park, that's going to be cityofpsl.com/Torino Regional Park, all one word.
Awesome. That'll be in the description for you guys.
Yep.
Also, gosh, I just forgot what I was going to say. Something with parks. I will put all of this in the description. We'll look up some other stuff. Oh, the videos. That's what I was going to say. The public information videos are posted on that page too. So if you guys want to watch them, I watched the last one. It was really interesting. I thought it was going to be super boring because it was virtual, but I learned so much. And the questions that everybody had that you answered were great. They were awesome. We tried to catch up on all of them today. And also remember, guys, we've got cityofpsl.com/podcast. You could fill out a form and tell us what you want to hear. We got another one the other day. I've got to look in our email about it. But we're here for you. This podcast is hot topics that you guys want us to talk about. So that's what we're doing. And this today was Torino Regional Park. Kelly, thank you so much. You'll be back, I'm sure.
Anytime.
For the port. I'm so excited about the port. Can you tell?
Yeah, the port's going to be really good. That's right next to my house. So.
Ooh,
yeah, the port.
Kelly will be there all the time.
Yes, you'll see me walking the trails and everything else over there. So
I love it.
Yep.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. Till next time.
All right. Thanks so much.